Marking a decade of concerted action to combat sexual violence in conflict, a much-needed paradigm shift, recognizing conflict-related sexual violence as a threat to international peace and security.
I am extremely pleased that we have launched the Global Fund for Survivors, because I think post-conflict reconstructions there has been a huge oversight. They have failed victims of sexual violence, and reparation is truly what is the most victim survivor-centered approach in terms of giving back their dignity.
With messages re-emphasized here that it's been cost-free for too long for perpetrators of these heinous crimes, where victims of conflict then bear the added indignity of rape and assault.
The big problem is impunity, and we need really to improve the way that justice is delivered for victims of sexual violence in conflict. I can take the example of Congo. You know, a report was released in 2010. Next year it will be 10 years. This report was done by the expert of the UN about crime happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And 10 years after, no one single recommendation of this report was implemented. So if there is no justice, it's a message to criminals that they can go on doing crimes without any consequence on them.
This fellow laureate, now a human rights activist, was among almost 7,000 minority Yazidi women and girls kidnapped by ISIS in Iraq in 2014 and held for 3 months, where they were enslaved, raped and beaten before she was able to escape. Asked here to weigh in on the recent death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
We don't want to just see ISIS like Baghdadi just get killed. We want to see justice. There is thousands of ISIS, they join al-Baghdadi, and they are continue to do what he did. And at first I talked to my sisters-in-law, 6 of them when they were in captivity, and they have been in very bad situation at that time, and they lost their husband. And I asked my family first, because all of them were survivors, and everyone was saying, okay, but this is just Baghdadi, and how about all these ISIS? How about those they rape us, they stole us, they still have our girls, they still have our children.
Minister Pandor, who co-hosted the Global Fund's launch, talked about South Africa's shame in dealing with domestic issues of sexual abuse and exploitation, including when SANDF UN peacekeepers violated those they were sent to protect.
One of the areas in which we do need to give greater attention is that of research. I don't think we're doing enough to understand the factors that relate to the practice and levels of violence that we see in many of our societies. We need, through improved research, to have a deeper understanding of the causal factors and to attack these in order to ensure that we end the scourge of violence against women. And I don't think we're yet doing enough.
Pandor welcomed the deployment of gender and women protection advisors in UN peace operations as part of efforts to end sexual violence in conflict. Sherman Bryceby's SABC News, New York.